In this video, I'm going to walk you through the necessary steps to complete the bubble wand design activity for Tech Adventure Camp. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have the SketchUp window open and we have our preferences set so that the units of measurement that we were currently working in will be set to millimeters. The reason why we select millimeters is because that is the best unit of measurement that can be transferred over when creating the STL files and the files that are necessary for creating the actual 3D print. So what I need to do is go into Window. At the top of the screen there's drop down menus, so click on Window and choose Preferences from the drop down, and you can use any different template that as long as it is set so that it is set for millimeters. So you can use the simple meters template because it will be broken down into millimeters, and you can go down even into the engineering ones as well. So I'm going to go and stick with what I have already. It just says architectural design millimeters. If you need to change yours from inches and feet to millimeters, hit OK, and then make sure you go to File, New, and start a new drawing because your changes will not take effect until you open a new drawing window. Okay, so the next thing I want to do now is to get rid of anything on the screen so that we are able to start working with our drawing. So click on the person. You can simply hit the delete key on the keyboard or come up to the eraser tool at the top of the screen and erase the person from our visible workspace. As you notice, you have the X, Y, and Z origin, and basically those are resembled by green, red, and blue axes. In order for us to know what axes we are currently working on and keep things in 2D or 3D, we can use the viewing toolbar that is up here at the top that I already have here. It makes things a lot easier when you actually start creating your drawing. So one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you go into View toolbars and make sure that you have the large tool set selected, which is what should already be preloaded on SketchUp, and the Views toolbar is what I have currently in the top right corner that I've drawn attention to earlier. So I have the large tool set and Views, and I can get out of that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do then is to make sure that I hit the top view, because then what this is going to do is it's going to give us the red and green axis. Red will be our X and green will be our Y in this case. And blue is the Z, and that's actually coming towards you, so that's giving us the depth. So starting off with the 2D drawing, for the bubble wand we need to start off with a circle. So I'm going to click on the circle tool at the top toolbar, and the shortcut for that is C for circle. Click on my origin, click once with the left mouse button, and then drag out my mouse along the radius, and we're going to set the radius, which is half of the diameter, we're going to set that to 15. So ultimately we will have a diameter of 30 later on. Now you see that there seems to be a dot in the middle of our origin. Now in order for us to zoom in, the best way to do that without using the wheel of the mouse, zooming in, zooming out using the wheel, we can simply select the Zoom to Extents viewing option at the top toolbar. Click on that and it brings everything into plain view. One thing I want to draw attention to right now is that to make up one circle, there are 24 sides that make up this circle. Okay, and that's important. That will become important when we get to the step where we create an array. Okay, at this time, since I have the 24 sides, I'm now ready to create my inset using the offset tool. The offset tool allows us to create a border around the circle or inside the circle depending what our need might be. So as you can see, I clicked once on the border of the circle, the 24 side circle. I can go inside or outside. I can just basically eye it up where I want it to be, or I can set the distance to whatever I want it to be. In this case, I'm going to set the inset distance to 2 millimeters. So I just simply move the mouse towards the middle, type in 2, enter, and you'll see it in the bottom right corner of the screen where the distance is set to 2 millimeters, and that will be now 2 millimeters from the outside edge. I want to make one more inset starting from the last inset that I made off of the overall circle that we created first. So I click once, drag it in again, and hit to enter. So there we have everything we need to get started with the outside corners of or I should say the inside corners of the jagged edges that go all the way around the inside of our bubble wand. Okay, so I can go back and hit the top view if I want to, So from here I want to take the pencil tool, and I'm going to start off right here on this endpoint, and I'm going to basically make a triangle from this line over and down to the midpoint of this line and make that triangle. So I'm going to start here on the first endpoint and click with my left mouse pointer, come down to the midpoint of this second line, and come back up to the other corner of the first line we started with. So we should have a triangle that is created here. Then we are going to basically be duplicating that triangle in what we call an array function, going all the way around the origin, okay, revolving around the origin at 360 degrees. So in order to complete the array feature, I'm going to need to take the mouse pointer and I'm going to select, holding the shift key down, so hold the shift key down so that you see the plus and the minus sign, and I'm going to select both of these lines that create the corner of the triangle that will be duplicated. Once I've selected both, I'm ready then to rotate and duplicate those copies. But before I show you that, I want to show you that sometimes you may make the mistake of selecting areas of the triangle or areas that are drawn already that you don't necessarily need. So in order to fix this, all we have to do is actually click on it once again, and we'll deselect those features that no longer are necessary or were never necessary in the beginning, and you get everything that you just want. So I have both those lines selected, and now I can let go of the shift key and I can move over to the rotate tool. Click on the rotate tool and you see the protractor that will appear in the screen, and you're going to set the protractor up on the origin after you hit the control key once on the keyboard. When you click on or hit the control key, strike the control key, you will see a plus sign that shows up inside the protractor. This plus sign means that it is now going to duplicate and rotate all at the same time. Click once on the origin, click a second time, but this time on the end of the triangle, and drag this down so that it lines up, and let go of the mouse. While everything is still selected, at the bottom right corner of the screen you see it where it says angle. It says 15 right now. That was a 15-degree angle. What we want to do right now is we want to put a multiplier in. So basically you will use the asterisk on your keyboard, and basically you would hold the shift key down and then hit the number 8. That's your asterisk. That's going to represent multiplication. So you're going to multiply by 24 sides, hit enter, and voila. There you have all of the edges that are needed for the inside corners of the bubble wand. So all you need to do from here is take the eraser tool at the top of the toolbar and erase unwanted lines so that we are then able to start the bubble wand itself, remove the inside face, that blue area in the inside, and give it a thickness so that the bubble wand will then be complete. So as you can see, I'm going through and I'm erasing each of these individual lines so that they are no longer there and that we can move on. Take the mouse pointer then and select the inside of the bubble wand and hit delete on your keyboard. So hit the delete key. Okay, then we're going to zoom out using the wheel of the mouse. So I'm going to zoom out. Okay, and then I'm going to use the the line tool and click start an endpoint right on this bottom piece right here, and then we're going to run straight down along the green axis. As you can tell, my line is green. I'm going to set the length. On the bottom right corner of the screen you see it says length. Instead of 34.1 millimeters, we're going to set that to 40. Hit enter. Okay, and then you're going to trace over on the red axis this time 2. So you type 2, enter. Come straight back up, connect to that edge. Alright, and then you're going to come over here again on this midpoint here, go over another 2 millimeters, 2, and then enter. Come straight back up, find an edge or find a point on that edge, and then once again all we need to do is erase any unwanted geometry from our drawing, our 2D drawing. So I take my eraser tool, highlight those 3 lines, erase them, and they're gone. So I'm going to zoom out or hit the zoom to extents, and in plain view right now we see the bubble wand. So the last step requires that we go into isometric view. So and everything's going to still be flat. We're still in 2D. We made one 2D drawing, and we're now going to push pull or give it the thickness along the z-axis. In this case, the blue will represent the z-axis. So take the push pull tool, click on the face, And as you can tell, I'll zoom in a little bit, you can see the little dots. That means that we're selecting that face. And then you click once and drag it up. As you can tell, you can go down or up. And we're going to set that distance, or as you can tell in the bottom right corner of the screen right now, it's currently at 11.3. We're going to set it to 1.5. That's 1.5 millimeters, and that's going to be plenty thick, thick enough for the bubble wands. So once that's created, we're all finished, and the last thing that you possibly could do is turn it into a component and paint it. Paint it any color that you wish. Take the mouse pointer, do a triple click, not once, not twice, but triple click, so that everything is highlighted. Another way of doing this is clicking and dragging over the entire object. And we're going to turn that into a component. So you right click, make component, hit create. And what that basically does is it now means that you can scale it to any size that you would want to make it bigger or smaller without worrying about messing up the drawing. Okay, and it also makes using the paint coloring option easier. So you pick one color from the paint palette. We'll go with whatever's easiest. We'll go with a red, and then click once on the area that you would like to paint, just like in Microsoft Paint, and it's done. So there is your bubble wand. We'll go rotate back to the main view so you can see the different views of it, and it is finished.